Hi, good evening. This is Habib. I'd just like to get an update from Bangladesh garments factory. Now we'll see the one news. You will be understand what's happened with our Bangladesh garment factory.
In Bangladesh, more than 4.1 million people are employed making clothes, mostly women. But because of the coronavirus pandemic, many now fear they could lose their jobs. Fatima Khatun is a divorcee with two family members who depends on her income, and she's worried.
If the factory closes, it'll be very hard for me to manage things. I take care of the rent, my son's education, and mother's treatment. Our appeal to the government is that they should come up with some sort of solution for us in such a situation.
The finance minister says Bangladesh could lose 1.1% of its GDP during the outbreak. In the industrial area of Dhaka, you can sense anxiety and alarm. The streets are empty and many of the factories have closed their doors, uncertain as to what is to come next. Industry leaders say the situation could worsen.
Out of the 4,200, only 880 factories have so far reported losses of $2.94 billion. So you can well imagine the impact. We'll be stuck with the goods. There will be no payment. We have no certainty, no assurance from any buyer that they're going to be taking it. And also, all our liability for our fabric and accessory, everything's piling up as well. So the immediate impact is basically the workers' lives.
The garment manufacturers and exporters has urged its members to consider shutting their factories to limit the spread of the coronavirus. But those who plan to make personal protective gear to fight the pandemic can remain open, ensuring workers stay safe.
We feel that as long as they are in the factory, they are safe. Our factories are maintaining safety in all aspects. Before entering, everyone has to go through all hygienic procedures of hand washing, etc.
Economists and business experts say the government must allocate funds to help those who become jobless, especially if they are on low incomes. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has announced plans for a stimulus package of $589 million for the industry to overcome the fallout. But for those who live from one paycheck to another, that seems to offer little immediate relief.
Let's speak to Tanvir Chowdhury, who joins me now from Dhaka. And of course, that story has slightly developed since you filed it, because we believe that some businesses do want to open up. And I suppose needs must if families have to be fed.
Indeed, but unfortunately, now the industry leaders are saying that the actual hit could be as high as $6 billion if this continues. Now, the country has been blocked down since about a week now, and it's been extended till April 9th. And what we know that the Prime Minister has put a plan for a stimulus package of $589 million. Now that may be coming, later, but right now a lot of these workers are living paycheck to paycheck, and probably 1 million plus worker will lose job. What the industry and the government is saying is that you can stay open if you have order, otherwise you should shut it down. There are a handful of industries that are actually still maintaining the factories open because they're making masks and protective gears, handing them out free to the healthcare workers and the poor segment of the society. But it's probably going to prolong here in Bangladesh, and the extended holiday, what the government is saying, rather than a blockade, has been enforced by the army and the police. The streets are empty. Most of the businesses are closed, only except for the essential services. So,
of course, that actually gives us an idea of the capital. Bangladesh, obviously, is a country of millions. How is the message getting across from government officials across the country about the pandemic and how important it is to stay safe?
Well, there have been a lot of public service messages, including to media, as well as, government health workers, the military, the police. Now, you have to realize this is a country of 160 million people, one of the most densely populated country in the world. And out of that, only 1,600 people have been tested so far, which is dismally low. Critics and media are saying that the actual figure could be much higher. Enough test hasn't been done. Only tests been done on those who came from abroad in last 35 or 40 days. That's about 400,000 people came from abroad. 10 million Bangladeshis live abroad, 4 million in the slums, and now you have the largest refugee camp in the world. Rohingyas are living in a very congested, densely place in Cox's Bazar. Those are ticking time bombs. And if the media's report is correct that at least 40 plus people died within 9 days with all the asymptomatic symptoms of coronavirus, and the respiratory illness went up 14%, which is quite high compared to last year. These are bad signs, and it is spreading to community level, despite all the awareness for people living in the congested slums and poor areas don't have the luxury of social distancing. I mean, the hygienics are not the best. I mean, they use public toilet, very few running water facilities. So it's overall a ticking time bomb, and the government needs to face the reality and start doing more testing. There used to be one centralized testing place. Now there is at least 10 of them. Just within last few days, the government allocated 10 more testing facilities. So things are looking quite dismal, and major challenge ahead for the government and the country as a whole.
Tanvir Chowdhury in Dhaka, thanks very much.
In Bangladesh, more than 4.1 million people are employed making clothes, mostly women. But because of the coronavirus pandemic, many now fear they could lose their jobs. Fatima Khatun is a divorcee with 2 family members who depends on her income.
So we'd like to request the government to take care for this, and will be the future of this the garments factory, which will be the cover in the country. So thank you very much for watching this one. Thanks a lot.